Hello, my name is Maria Gomez, and this is my creative critical reflection for the film I created called Ring, a Murder Mystery. Let's break down the film. The movie focuses more on the character Sarah, where she's having issues at home with her mother that tends to yell at her for being a normal teenager, and her significant other. She tries to portray herself as happy and bubbly towards her friends, where she tries to fit in so that way they don't know what's actually going on at home or behind the scenes. To start off this first question, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? This film opening rather focused on the abusive relationship and societal norms, where the teenager Sarah is seen as bubbly and super sweet towards her friends, but is having a difficult time with her mother and her significant other. You see her mom yelling at her for being quote unquote lazy and messy, for her room looking the way that it did, which most teens tend to deal with because some don't have the motivation anymore with schoolwork and society. So that tends to lead them to not organize their rooms. And this is an issue that is going on currently everywhere around the world. In this clip, you see where the girls are talking about when they had went to the beach, but Sarah is rather silent, but she's still trying to smile to make it seem as she is perfectly fine, which most teens tend to do nowadays because they rather not show their emotions and keep it bottled up. The social group presented is the average teen. The costume that we used was normal or regular attire that normal teenagers nowadays would wear, which is either a tank top, a crop top with sweats, or a t-shirt. The mise-en-scene that we included was a regular house where teenagers usually like to meet up, to hang out, or to just quote-unquote chill. Portrayed mise-en-scene when we had in another scene Sarah in front of her vanity when she was getting ready to go see her friends. We had also decided to record in the daylight when the sun was at its peak to portray a more lighter effect on the viewers watching. The meaning behind this film that we created was to show that teenagers nowadays tend to hide their emotions away from their family or loved ones or close friends. So that way, not everyone should just imagine that other people are feeling perfectly fine. They also have their own more personal issue, and that all depends on what is going on in their personal lives. We specifically wanted this film to focus more on the toxic relationship that Sarah is having with her mother and her significant other, which, as you can see, is labeled as do not answer. The second question, how does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? The way my product engages with audiences is that we created something that most people could relate to on a more personal matter, with either a toxic mother or parent that tends to yell at their teenager or young child for just being a regular teenager, or with either a toxic boyfriend or significant other that controls what you do and constantly have arguments about simple things. The audience that can mostly relate with my product are young teens, young adults, or young children, as a matter of fact. For example, as you can see on the screen, dating abuse is common in the US, and about 10% of 13 to 18-year-olds have experienced an abusive relationship, such as the one that we've portrayed in the film. But it also goes both ways because as well as 1 in 11 female high school students experienced dating violence in the last year, as well as in 14 high school age males. And here, for example, you could see I have a pie chart that shows the different age gaps and the percentage of how many of them are experiencing dating violence. You can see the majority that takes up is around 39% from the ages of 18 to 24. And as well, in this other chart, you see that I'm showing only 33% of teens who are in an abusive relationship never told anyone about the abuse. As well as although in this movie we talked more about the toxic mother, and it also goes with toxic parents in general, and the toxicity of a parent that can have a toll on a young child or teenager's mental health. How it would be distributed as a real media text would be we could just market it as the toxic mother and the toxic relationship type. And since most people can find themselves relating to this, they would want to watch it. For example, in the movie Waves, people knew what the movie was about because it had been marketed all around social media, and they put snips and bits of the toxic relationship at the beginning of the movie. So that made people want to watch it because they knew that they could relate to it on a deeper, further meaning. This type of marketing is perfect for a movie like this, and we could do it the same exact way. Because of this murder mystery, it also causes more intense feelings and more suspicion about what actually happened. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? For me, for example, I'm a very determined person, and if I feel like we are behind on some work and we need to get anything done, I will make sure that we get it done by the end of the day. So last week, when we first recorded this film, I made sure we got it done and we had enough time to edit it and do this creative critical reflection just in time in case that if we didn't like the final project, we would have time to do it again. This film helped me think more about time management more than anything. Another production skill that I thought was really important that I learned was camera angles. We had to shoot from overhead so you could be able to see the phone from Sarah when she was getting the call. We also did, for example, a close-up, but instead of it being focused on Sarah's face, it was more focused on the movement of her hands, which helped portray and highlight the nervousness that she was feeling with the trembling of her hands and the fidgeting. Based on camera angles, it could help portray the feel of the movie. Since we wanted to focus on Sarah's nervousness and fidgeting, we made sure to focus on her face, and I made sure that Sarah was wearing upright color so she would pop out more, and we focused on her hands, which was fidgeting. Now for my final question. How did you integrate technology, software, hardware, and online into this project? The way we integrated technologies, for example, to start off, we used Shauna's phone to record the whole film. It was an iPhone 14, and we used the video feature. We didn't have any professional cameras, so we used this iPhone, and it helped record more smoothly. Also seeing that it has a cinematic feature. Another technology that we incorporated in this film was iMovie. It was used to edit and cut some scenes and also put them all together and to add the audios. And we were able to incorporate different subtitles in the beginning and the end. And we added transitions. I used iMovie the entire time to edit the film, and I also used PicsArt for this creative critical reflection. Technology is very important to use when making a film because there's a variety of resources that you can use to better the product and make it seem more professional. Overall, I'm very grateful for this project. Although it was lengthy, it also helped me learn more about time management and more about technology and how to know my way around such resources like iMovie and PicsArt. I am very grateful of the opportunity and appreciative to further my education in production and set open a variety of new opportunities where I can study more and even focus on this as a career.